HQ. You're watching the Respawn Station podcast. My name's Yoshi.
That's stupid. I don't know. Do you think it sticks? If you say yes, then it goes in.
I will be honest. I'm fine with it, but it does sound like a dying man, a dying old man is on his way out, but he has to do the Respawn Station podcast intro one last time.
Yeah,
for old time's sake.
So, that means that it's going to stay in. So, you are listening to the Respawn Station podcast. My name's Nick Sivak, and I'm joined by Sri Kandula. And I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm not Yoshi, but we have
what?
Yeah, I know. It's been a secret that I've kept pretty close to my chest this entire time.
You can run it back if you'd like. Hold on. My mic went loose.
I'll do another one, a standard intro, just in case I...
No, you can go for it again. I don't mind.
Well, I'm not going to re-record it, because I think it was really good. So... All right, well, we have a bit of a weird podcast tonight, kind of a different sort of rundown, but Evo is just around the corner this weekend, so we thought it would be fun to kind of pitch and create our dream fighting game to, I would assume, self-professed fighting game casuals trying to nail down, a flawless fighting game for the both of us. So that'll be pretty fun. We also got a Nintendo Direct partner showcase tomorrow that we'll be speculating a little bit about. And Wolfenstein, the next big TV series coming from Kilter Films and Amazon. So got some interesting stuff to get into, Sri. But before we get into all of that, what have you been playing this week? We always got to start the podcast off with the goods.
So the games that I have been playing this week are really separated into two brackets, and each one, Nick, comes with its own story. And I know you love stories.
Yes,
so
I do.
Grab your hot cup of Calypso, and let's talk about the two main games. There he is, that I've been playing. So the first one, obviously, remains Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers, and my full review is up on RespawnStation.com. I've been playing it a little bit less than leading up to last week, but it's still kind of my primary game. I was literally playing it right before the stream, and so I'm chipping away at it. But I have put enough time into the game that I'm certain of what I think of it and what I will score it. So my review is actually done for the game. You can read it over on RespawnStation.com. And I actually found out, here's a little fun fact, this morning, that I have just two main bosses left in the game to beat it. There are some optional ones, at least one that I've ran into. And now that the game's out, I decided to stream it a little bit while I was playing it. And to my luck, Nick, it happens to be the first boss I encounter that has a second phase. And so I'm like, yes, I freaking did it. And then, the second phase starts, and immediately I'm like, no, this isn't how the cutscene's supposed to go. So that was a fun experience. But no, the story time actually is, a few years ago, there was a game called, I think, like Wolong something. It was another Souls-like game, and that was back when we were in the apartment that we lovingly dubbed the studio. And we had this stream idea, which was essentially all three of us, which is myself, Alexa, and Austin, would play Wolong together, and every time we die, we'd pass the controller to the other person, and our goal was to beat the first boss. And at the time, we were very new to Souls-like games. I hadn't played Lies of P at all. Like I was a baby in the genre. Mm-hmm. And we actually did not make it to the first boss. Oh, well, we made it to the first boss. We never beat that first boss. And so this time around, since last week Wu-Chang came out and it was also on Game Pass, I thought we'd bring that back, but with a little bit of a twist. So essentially, we had two teams. Team A, which was myself and Alexa, and Team B, which was Austin and Brittany. And we would go head to head, and so we'd both be both teams would be playing it independently. If one person dies on the team, you switch it to the other person, and back and forth. And it was the same thing, race to the first boss, right? And I had seen a little bit of coverage coming out of the game because obviously, like, I'm familiar with it because I've played it for like 2.5 weeks before it came out. But for a lot of people, I see the videos going up, and I saw like Donkey had a video, and the first boss gives you a little bit of time to it really rocks you a little bit. It teaches you what you need to know. I saw Lyric stream it as well, and so I thought, you know what, this is a great idea. I pitched it. Everyone was in. So on Friday we streamed it, and we're going along at a steady pace to make things interesting. I'm always a creator, Nick. I'm always keeping that in the back of my head. So I was like, I already played a lot of this game. I already know this. So like, Alexa would die. She'd pass it to me. I'd play a little bit, and then I just kind of pass it back to her anyway. And so at this particular point that I'll take you, it's about an hour into the stream. And essentially, Austin and Brittany, Team B, have already made it to the first boss, the first real boss. Because there's like two kind of bosses before that. Like one is like is meant to roll you, like it's like to teach, put you in your place, and the second one is just like so easy it doesn't even matter. Like you can just blindfolded get through that boss. So the first real boss, Team B had already made it, and I think they were already like on their first death. And I was like, all right, Alexa, like here we go. Here's these cool looking doors. I'll let you open the doors. So she opens it, and Nick, would you believe it? My wife beats the boss on her first try, dude.
Nice.
I was absolutely shocked. No idea how it happened. I think she, I will probably give her credit for picking up on the fact that the spells are so kind of invaluable in this game. There really is a point to be made that, like, this is not what she did. She did get some attacks in there. But you really could, if you wanted to, defeat a boss with only your spells, which pretty much only require you to get perfect dodges. Like if you dodge at the right time, you can just restock your spells infinitely. There's no cap on that. So either way, crazy, super proud of her. Way to go, Alexa. And so that was you can check that out. That's a whole video over on her channel and stuff. So that's the first thing.
I think Alexa's found her new genre in Souls-likes. She soloed that Elden Ring Night Rain boss, and then this.
Maybe I'll put her up to like a Bloodborne playthrough. We'll see how that shakes out. But no, more from like I don't have much to say about Wu Chang other than that. Again, my review is probably anything I want to say. I've said it there. If anything kind of major happens once I beat the game, I'll mention it again. But other than that, that's probably what you'll hear from me about Wu Chang Fallen Feathers for now. The second story is essentially, actually, I'll take it back a little bit. So, I was talking about Austin and Brittany. So this is a fun story that I personally enjoy, which is essentially that when I mentioned a few episodes ago that Austin purchased a Switch 2. Yeah, it was actually like a Switch 2 that was bundled with like Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like it was like a GameStop bundle, like they threw in a bunch of stuff to get you to spend big. And so Austin made the purchase, and then he told Brittany, and Brittany was like, "What? you just bought that?" And he goes, "But Big Monkey." And then they essentially struck an agreement there that whenever she wants something big, she can just say Big Monkey, and it was like an instant win card, And personally, this is like Big Monkey is just a great card to just pull out whenever you're in trouble. Sorry, officer, Big Monkey. You know what I mean? And so on Saturday, if you honestly, that banana, I've not played Donkey Kong Bonanza, but that banana is just continually stuck in my head. Banana. But no, so on Saturday, a few days ago, and I sent Nick this too. I walked into this. I was going through a few stores, getting groceries and stuff, and I walked into Target. And as I was going I was actually looking at the TVs. But as I was walking in, I turned to my right, just glanced over, and just right there, I could see it. A Switch 2, two Switches 2s actually, and I'd never seen one in the wild yet, before. And So I sent a photo to Nick, I sent a photo to Austin and Brittany, and I got two responses and right away. One Austin said, "Dude, you should pick it up," and then Brittany responded and said, "Big monkey." I didn't know I could get big monkey as well. And so, and then, Alexa saw that and she also threw in a big monkey. So essentially, anyway, I got a Switch too. All right.
Nice.
I picked it up. It's a late birthday present for myself, about a month after, after my actual birthday. But, you know what? It's very much so first impressions right now for the Switch 2. I think probably sometime in September, Nick, we should do like a proper full episode where we just review the Switch 2.
Sure.
And I say September because like in August, as as we've announced a few times already, we're going to go to Gamescom and I will be using this thing a lot during the traveling of that trip. So I'll put it to the test really fully then. But for now, I'm coming at this from a weird angle because obviously it's I get checks from Gabe. I love the Steam Deck, but specifically with the Switch, I picked it up initially when it came out. Actually, the second month after the Switch came out, I got that, and the second month after the Switch 2, I picked that up. But I played it for about 4 years, and I think came a point where I was just like, the games that I want to play, I feel like I'm losing out on fidelity by playing it on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
The convenience doesn't quite outweigh the visual capacity. So I ended up going to PS4 or PS5 eventually as my kind of go-to consoles. And so I put it down, and actually I ended up giving my Switch 1 to Alexa so she could play Stardew Valley. And so I've been away from the Switch for a while now. So going into the Switch 2, it's really like almost like a newbie, and it opens me up in an interesting way because, first of all, I do think at a base level, Switch 2 is just a really, like, it feels like a more premium console. It almost feels like the Switch 1 and 2 are the same console, but like the Switch 2 is like the pro version and the Switch is just the base version, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which has been an interesting thing to experience. It's like, it feels nice in the hands. The display's like striking, and it's overall well made so far. Again, we'll see how it holds up, but I am not a Nintendo player by and large. Like, I don't really play a lot of, like, I haven't picked up Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I don't have any plans to. It's not one of the games that really it just sticks out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fairly accurate with guessing what games I will, I will want to approach and what won't approach. But that being said, I have Mario Kart World. I did roll credits on it, and it was primarily like Alexa and I kind of, sat in front of the TV and just, did each of the cups in, like, I think we did a 50cc initially and then like 100 after that. But
Mm-hmm.
man, some of those maps look really freaking striking.
Yeah.
Like there's moments where we're just kind of going through the maps and it's just like, oh shit, like like occasionally there just be some moments that hit you. Soundtrack absolutely slaps. I have no idea how, like, it's so good that like I'm trying to like turn off the sound effects. Like, I'm trying to like, can we quiet down everything else so I can hear the sound? And I don't think there's a way to do that in the settings, unless I'm wrong.
The settings are like a bit bare bones from what
yeah,
you see.
absolutely. But anyway, it's still a great soundtrack, and I've learned, like, it's not even that I enjoy, like, I find the open world, the free mode stuff to be pretty like okay, it's there,
Mm-hmm.
and no, it's not like really enticing, as much as, like, I guess the main kind of just racing and stuff. But that being said, I haven't played a Mario Kart like officially like on a Nintendo console in a while, and so this thing just plays like butter. It's kind of crazy how smooth it plays. And again, I know that the realist in me is thinking this is not how most games will play on the system,
Right. Like,
because it's optimized to shit for Nintendo stuff,
Yeah, like if you pick up Cyberpunk, like it's still probably not going to be exactly to the level of like PS5 or Series X, but like certainly much better than Switch One would be able to handle a game like that.
Oh yes, 100%. And so I'm looking forward to playing it. I did. So I don't have any other Switch 2 games other than Mario Kart World because that's a pack-in. And also, by the way, to kind of give you guys a little bit of how crazy the situation was. So there was 2 Switch 2s left at the Target. I was waiting for the Target employee. I was at the electronics section, and for like 10 minutes, no one was there. And this guy, and like right next to the counter, they have this display of like, eShop cards that you can get, or like game cards and whatnot. And I was like looking, and I'm still tempted to get it, but as Fast Fusion was there, I was like, is this worth it? And there's like also Street Fighter, and I was kind of looking at this, and this guy comes up behind me, and pretty easily scopes, oh, you're here for the Switch too? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, you also got the email? And I was like, email? And he's like, yeah, I went on the email list, and they just sent me an email that it was in stock, so I hopped in the car and came over. So it was that fast. It just happened to be that I was just there at that moment when the Switch 2 went back in stock at this particular location. But since there were 2, I did decide, like, if there was only one system or something, I would have given it to him because this guy was clearly like waiting for it. I mean, he's on the wait list. But there were 2, so it was a happy ending all around. So I got, we both got one, and yeah. That being said, last thing I'll say about it, don't have any other Switch 2 games. I don't really have any, like, I looked at the release calendar. Nothing really strikes me as one that I want to pick up. Like Cyberpunk I already played, and I prefer to play it on the PS5 anyway. And yeah, like I said, Bonanza is not up my alley. So for now, I picked up, like, there's a pretty big sale going on eShop. So I picked up like 2-3 games. I'll talk about them as I play them eventually. But nothing else. Oh, and I did like dig up my old, like I had, not an old, but I had a copy of Pokemon Shining Pearl. So I put that in there just for the heck of it. But that's it. That's my Switch 2 story, my shenanigans with that. Very unexpected. Like, honestly, this time last week, I would not have expected for us to be here having this conversation. But yeah, here we are. Nick, what have you been playing?
So, mostly just more Tony Hawk. I have nothing else to add based on previous conversations. I'm just kind of like, it's how you've described it in the past, where it's kind of a podcast game for me. Like, I'll just throw a podcast on and be like, it's just something that I can half pay attention to and just kind of grind away at. I have like a soft goal.
That is on, like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
that game is on the Switch, that has a Switch 2 version. And I was looking at it as going through the eShop, and I was like, do I do this? Do I do this for Nick? I mean, I'm the one playing it, but do I do it? But I didn't. Also, last thing I'll say about this, eShop is absolute garbage, man. There is so much AI bullshit on that app, like just blatant AI. I saw a fucking app that was like, how to train your dog, and I was like, what the hell is this? and it was like just text of how to train your dog, I guess, and then like AI images where like the fingers are disappearing and shit like that. But Nick, this regularly $6 game is only $2, so you better run to the eShop and pick it up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's funny that you bring that up, because it's like I hear that part of the eShop discourse, and I've also heard on Switch 1 for the longest time that like the eShop just got so bloated that it like physically ran slow, like whenever you're trying to like scroll and search things. And it's funny because as somebody that primarily buys physical specifically for Switch, it's like I never went on the eShop, hardly ever. So it's like all these people are just like, yeah, the eShop, it's like that's the number one thing that Switch 2 needs to do better. It's like I've hardly interacted with it because I just buy carts and insert it right at the menu. So
I'm curious. So obviously we talked about it before, but like regarding this game card situation, like how do you think that'll shape out? In terms of like, fast forward this to like a year from now. Is every major Nintendo title just game cards, or you think like, because like it feels like people were celebrating the fact that Cyberpunk was entirely on the chip, like on the what's it called? Disc? Not
Game
disc.
key cartridge.
Cartridge. Yeah, there you go.
It's a really, yeah, I don't know. I feel like all the first party Nintendo stuff will always be on the cartridge. I feel like there's really no reason for them not to do that. It seems like almost every third party game except for Cyberpunk like has like I think there are some other exceptions, but most of them are like the digital keycard thing. And it's like if they don't reduce the cost somehow of those bigger chipsets or cartridge sizes for the publishers and stuff, I assume like every physical third party is just going to be a game key card, because they're not just going to want to fork over the extra money for such a niche thing in their eyes that people will complain about. I mean, obviously there's people in like our circles and stuff on Twitter and all that'll bitch and complain about it, but it's probably a drop in the hat versus the random person walking into Target and seeing, oh, Street Fighter 6 is on Switch, like, and just buying it. So I assume Nintendo first party will stick to it, and then you'll have like your couple examples, like maybe like FromSoft's Duskbloods will be like on the cart or something like that. But
there is, I think it's like a Factory Life or Rune Factory, like one of those games that was on the Switch too. I heard was essentially it's so, you know, just like the case, the cartridges for Switch 2 are also red. Mm-hmm. And apparently that game has a red cartridge, but it's actually just the Switch like the Switch 1 version of the game loaded onto that cartridge, and then when you plugged it in or when you inserted it then installed the updates to make it a Switch 2 version. But it's still sold as a Switch 2 version, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's an interesting way to go around that, I guess.
They've kind of just completely bungled it, I think. Like, it's a very weird system that they have set up here. But we'll take it as it comes.
We'll talk about more about Nintendo later. But all right, go back to Tony Hawk.
So yeah, Tony Hawk, just been playing some more of that mainly. But over the last 2 days, I've started 2 other games that I've only put an hour into each. So
the hype train begins.
Yeah, so I don't have much to say about either of these, but I am excited to keep playing both of them. One of them's a retro game, and one of them is a new game. The new game I've mentioned multiple times about wanting to start is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So I did start that earlier today, and I played the prologue to the game because it has a little prologue section before you start Act 1. And initial impressions for this are cool. Turn-based RPGs are not something that, kind of like the Alters, it's not exactly something that I'm like against, but it's not something that is typically in my wheelhouse. Like, I've played a couple of them here and there, but it's not like a go-to genre for me. But of the couple like little tutorial battles and stuff like that, it's very flashy. I like how it has little dynamic moments. So like there's this ability that you can use in the tutorial where you get like it's essentially like a charged up lightning bolt attack, and it'll come up with quick time events where like it's, you know, like a little dial, and you have to hit the button when it's in a certain spot in the dial to get bonus damage essentially. And so they kind of incorporate quick time events. I was going to say QTEs because that's exactly how they put it in the tutorial, is QTEs. And I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I feel like not many games just like put the stamp on
Admit
it.
Yeah. They always give it some sort of a name, you know, active combat, you know.
Maybe it's been gone for so long that they're just like, hey, it's, you know, it's got a nostalgic vibe to it now.
It's endearing now.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And then also in the combat, you can dodge and also parry incoming attacks. And so there's like, you can dodge to obviously, you know, dodge the incoming attacks. But if you perfect parry right when an attack is coming in, you'll negate all damage that you take. And it also gives you extra like points to use your abilities with. So it's kind of like a very nice reward to get like a full chain of parries off whenever.
But if you dodge, it's just you just don't get hit. That's it.
Yep, just negating damage.
I see.
So, it's cool. It's turn-based, but with active elements that make it feel just a bit more engaging. There hasn't been much combat yet. There was only like a couple of like little sparring things that you do, and then like one like fight in the tutorial area. But really, what the prologue does a good job of is setting the tone. It's a very orchestral music. The soundtrack is very nice and very elevated at the beginning here. And visually, it's an Unreal Engine game. And so it has some of those like Unreal Engine kind of look to it in certain areas, from like the character models and like how just kind of like environments are rendered. But the art direction really kind of pierces through that, and it makes it look a lot more unique, and it just stands out very visually. Like, you kind of load in, and way off in the distance across this ocean, you see the giant like number on the statue. That's like where the paintress paints the holy number or whatever you call it. And but then like I would like turn the camera, and there's just like giant floating shards of land in the sky, and then you turn around and there's like this Eiffel Tower looking thing that's like melted onto its side and stuff. So there's some really cool kind of like vistas that you're hit with like immediately, and like, you know, you're just kind of exploring this area, talking to people, getting a kind of a feel for it. And then eventually at the end of the prologue area, once the new number is kind of painted and there's a very emotional moment that happens, you're kind of set on your expedition to go try to stop this paintress. And pretty much right then is where I kind of cut it off. So I'm still only like an hour in, very early, but very strong first impressions. Definitely looking forward to playing more of that. And the other game that I started is a game that I've actually attempted to play before, but dropped it. I wanted to do something.
Same here.
Well, this actually, I don't know if this is the game that you're thinking of.
Okay.
So this is I wanted to play something retro because I've been playing a lot of like modern releases recently, and so I was looking at my collection. I was like, what do I want to play? And this one game has been sticking out to me for a while that I wanted to retry, and that is a game called Killer 7. Which is on the Nintendo GameCube.
Not the game. Oh.
And you can also get it on Steam. I have the Steam version. That was the version that I tried playing a while ago. But this is a Grasshopper manufacturer / Suda51 game back on the GameCube, like I said. And it's a very unique kind of game. It's a first-person shooter, kind of, but you're also in third person with fixed camera angles, and like basically like moving around the environment is like kind of on rails almost. It's like you hold the A button to move forward, and then you press B to switch directions in the room you're in, and then you like hold.
So it's like a old fashioned dungeon crawler almost, where you're like, you know, like
you're in third
kind
person
of move on
for,
an axle,
for that. So it's not quite like dungeon crawlery.
Oh.
And then whenever you hold the right like trigger on the GameCube controller, it'll zoom into first person, and you can move the gun around and shoot enemies. Very striking visual style. It's kind of like cell shaded, very like stark, vibrant colors. Very weird so far. You're basically playing as this group of contract killers, I guess, that are going in to kill these demons called the oh man, I can't even remember. They have like, it's like the smiling somethings. I think they're like smiling angels or something is what they're called. But you collect their blood, and you need their blood for something. So I'm still very early on into it. Heaven Smile, there you go. But it is a Suda game that I've not really played, and that I've heard a lot of really good buzz about, and how it's like it's a very unique and like interesting game, especially for it being like a predecessor to like No More Heroes, Lollipop Chainsaw, Killer is Dead, all those other games that Suda kind of got more popularized with. And so it was just a game that like I specifically wanted to sit in front of my CRT that I have for my retro consoles, and I was like, I want to play something on here. And I was like, this game has been, you know, in the backlog. I tried it back again. Maybe this time I'll get a little bit further, pierce through it a little bit more. And I was just kind of feeling the Suda itch after that Romeo's a Dead Man reveal from Summer Game Fest and everything. So, yeah, this was just the game that I decided to start up. Having fun with it so far, but I'm still not even past the point where I remember getting to last time. So, still just like very, very early in that.
I will also quickly. I remembered that I had played a little bit of another game, and it's only about 2 hours, a little bit. I played of this, and it's called The Office Type. This is the debut game from Heavy Thought Studios, and it's like a dating sim slash like puzzle game. So like you have to do match 3 puzzles as part of it, but it's like a different type of match 3 puzzles. And then there's also like the visual novel kind of conversing aspect of it. You guys know I like me a good visual novel. This was interesting to check out, but more interestingly, next episode we will have an interview with the creative director at Heavy Thought Studios. So we'll be talking about the Office Type, the inspirations behind it, and we'll see what information we can get out of them. So tune in next week for that. There you go.
Right on. So did you have anything else that you were really playing or anything like that, Sri? That was pretty much it for you?
Yeah, no, that's. I'm trying to think. Honestly, it feels like that's it. I mean, it's just been Wu Chang and Mario Kart World, a game that's super challenging and a game that I don't have to think about at all. So there's perfect balance,
right on,
and like in everything.
So yeah, I guess we'll switch over to some news headlines. Speaking of Nintendo, as we mentioned at the top, Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase announced for tomorrow. Kind of rumored on social media the last couple weeks here. Everybody always gets into a tizzy with Nintendo Direct speculation and everything, and this one turned out to be pretty legit. It's not like a traditional Nintendo Direct, but it is a partner showcase, which is usually focused on third-party developers and partners. Yep. They did announce that it's going to be roughly 25 minutes, so probably like 30 minutes, because usually they go a little bit long. But yeah, anything you're thinking of that they're going to be showing here?
Mean, let's throw some ideas out there, right? So I'm going to go with again, I've looked at some of the slate of upcoming Switch 2 games. I'm going to assume this is just Switch 2 stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some of it might be Switch 1, but like it's got we're here for the Switch.
They said Switch 1 and 2, so there's probably going to be a mix of both.
Yeah, but let's focus on the Switch 2, all right?
Yeah.
So
that'll be more fun.
I'm going to say didn't see this on the slate already, so I might have missed it. If I did, let me know. But Assassin's Creed Shadows. Is that coming to Switch 2 at all? I feel like I'll see it here. Assassin's Creed Shadows,
I don't think I've heard specifically, but that definitely seems like something that'll be here.
It's made its way to it's on Mac. You can play it on your iPad, I think, as well.
Ubisoft
or
wasn't
Mirage,
in
I think
the original like Switch 2 Direct, were they? I don't recall seeing anything from them.
I don't think so. But again, but they do have that relationship with Mario Rabbids, so.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a safe one or maybe a Hail Mary, but I'm going to say Assassin's Creed Shadows would probably be one to expect.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of.
We'll go back and forth. Let's see what else you got.
I'm trying to think of what other games like around Summer Game Fest that got announced that they're like, okay, now it's time for us to announce the Switch port. I think, well, I will say a pretty safe bet, I think, is a release date for the Elden Ring Switch port. That seems like that was kind of imminent when they announced that at the Switch 2 Direct, but it didn't have a date on it. So I bet that would be like a safe kind of announcement to just be like, hey, it's coming out then. And these are like the new updates that, the Switch 2 version will have.
This has been a big part of their strategy recently. So I'm going to go out there and say maybe something from Xbox. I don't think it's spoiler alert. I don't think it'll be Gears Reloaded or whatever it is. But that being said, it'd be really interesting to see Forza Horizon on there. Just running on a. I don't know if it's possible to have Forza Horizon running on a Switch too, but I will. Does who owns Hi-Fi Rush? Is it still Xbox? Like the first game is still, I guess it's still Xbox, right? I know the IP was brought by the studio.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like I was gonna bring up Hi-Fi Rush because it got like data mined or whatever a long time ago that like Switch logos and like a Switch like outfit appeared in the code. So, but that's just like kind of disappeared because the PlayStation, it was like whenever it broke out, it was like PlayStation outfit and Switch outfit, and the PlayStation version is out. Like that released last year.
Right.
So
right.
I have no idea what would have happened with that. To answer your question though, I think it's technically crafting at this point. Like I don't know how that really works, if that's like an Xbox game or not now. Because the one thing that disappointed me is that Limited Run Games announced that they were doing a physical print for Hi-Fi Rush before all that closure stuff, and ever since then that has been radio silent. Like that game has just like disappeared. So I don't know if that was like a casualty of rights changes and stuff like that, but I've always just been waiting to see if they do like an actual physical print for the game.
Yeah. Okay. What else? I'll
Call
say
of Duty? Probably not.
See, here's the I do think Call of Duty will be coming to the Switch too, because I mean they've said it, right? Like they've said they're going to try to get the game on Switch. I do think they'll stick to it. I don't know if Black Ops 7 will be that game. I feel like maybe like a Warzone would make more sense. You know, I'm thinking like financially, it would make more sense for them to be like, yeah, let's get the free to play battle royale on there to get people to buy the Snoop Dogg skins and the freaking weed skins, the plethora of weed skins.
Are they not like legally like obliged that they have to do that though? Like I feel like it was very like explicitly said during all those court cases where it's like
Xbox mergers,
feature parody releases on Nintendo. So I don't know.
Well, you could release Warzone as is, right? Like I'm sure it'd be like downgraded in terms of like visuals, but features, like you'd get the full suite of features. But I'm just thinking like monetarily, it seems, if I'm putting on the greedy glasses of Activision, it would make sense to be like, yeah, let's get that in there instead of spending even more money on a game that we'd have to trust people to maybe hopefully buy on a console that's primarily, not for these games.
Do you think Black Ops 7 is going to be a game key card with that install size? You think they can fit that on a 64 gig cartridge?
Dude, it's at. Do you think it will come to a point where it'll be like, how like on PlayStation 4 we have like two like Red Dead Redemption 2 is like 2 discs, but it's like 2 cartridges. You put in the first one, it installs, and then you put in the second one.
God, that would be wild if that ever does happen.
You open it, and it's just 2 cartridges inside. It'd be but like, I feel like it would need 2 cartridges for Black Ops 7 though.
It'd be like back in the 360 days when well, I don't know how familiar you would be with this. You didn't have a 360, right? You were PS3, right?
Yeah.
On 360, because they did not have Blu-ray discs, a lot of games actually came on multiple discs that were only a single disc on PS3. And
yeah, I remember that.
I think it was yeah, I think it was LA Noire came. No, it was Wolfenstein: The New Order. That's what it was. That came on 4 discs on 360. So it's like you open a Switch 2 game and you just have like 6 cartridges that you have to load in.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
You just gotta, for Call of Duty, you just gotta label it. Here's the texture pack. Here's the sound pack. You just don't install whatever you don't want. Do I want sound, or can I fit that on my Switch too?
I think I saw a little bit of speculation though about maybe Final Fantasy Tactics, that remake, if that's been announced for Switch 2 or not yet. That could be something that we see here. Yeah, I don't really know. I feel like it's going to be.
What's? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it was just gonna be like. I feel like it's gonna be a lot of ports and less so like new major announcements.
Yeah. So here's my here. I'll throw a few more out there that have been kicking around. So one, Metaphor ReFantazio.
Ooh, that's a good
maybe
idea. Yeah.
That feels like it would be right at home on Switch.
That just recently
take
passed
that kind of
like
massive
2 million sales, I think, or something like that. So
oh shit. We'll talk about 2 million sales in a second too. Yeah. So I feel like that makes sense. You know, I haven't played the game, but I know you had talked about it because you played the demo. I think. Was that season 0 at this point? I don't know.
I think
canon.
so.
I have to get the canon. I have to get the canon straight in my head. But just even like that, or like the Persona like 4 or 3, they're such massive games that they feel right at home on the Switch because it's not too intensive and you can really easily put it down or pick it back up. So that one, and then so here's the thing, Switch 2 did launch with the Yakuza 0. I believe I saw that on the shelf when I was in the store. So what's the last RGG game that came out? Is that like a pirate?
Yeah.
Like a pirate? No. Like a dragon, pirate in Yakuza?
Yeah, like a dragon, pirate
what the
Yakuza
fuck am I saying?
in Hawaii.
Yeah. Whatever that spell that he just said was. What that enchantment? Yeah, I feel like that one maybe also fair play. I definitely agree though. Ports is going to be the one. You think they'll be bold enough for a Resident Evil?
It crossed my mind. I could definitely see it, especially because I think recently, again, I don't know how much the physical market really has an impact on this stuff, but I think within the last couple months was the PS5 native versions of Resident Evil 2, 3, and just 2 and 3, I think. Or maybe 7. I think 7 also. So maybe I could see like some native versions of those, because I think Resident Evil 7, I think, was a cloud streaming game on Switch 1, if I remember that right. So
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I could see some of those remakes, maybe Resident Evil 4 getting like a native Switch 2 version. I did see some people speculating, again, crackpot Nintendo people, but maybe we get another Hollow Knight Silksong trailer ahead of Gamescom and everything. So I'm never going to subscribe to Hollow Knight showing up at any of these. So
yeah,
but yeah, I suppose it's a possibility, especially if it's playable at Gamescom on the ROG Ally or whatever. Then maybe it gets shadow dropped and it's just like, hey, it's out for everybody, so you could play it, but everybody else can play it at home.
The gaming sphere of the internet would just be, broken. That would be a crazy shadow drop if it were to happen. We're not predicting it, all right? We're not saying it, but it would be crazy if it was. Last one I'll throw out there. This one I don't have a solid title for, but what are the odds that anything from, because we talked about Xbox, it's only fair, anything from PlayStation makes its way over? The Lego Horizon game. Maybe, perhaps. I don't know what the likelihood of PlayStation wanting to do that would be, but at the same time they have
to. So I assume that would be fine.
That's why, yeah.
I think after Helldivers coming to Xbox, I could maybe see them doing a Switch 2 port for Helldivers 2. I don't know if that would be at this direct, but
sure,
I could see them like maybe in another year being like, hey, Switch 2 version now also. What else from Sony? Like, because it did kind of,
that's what I'm saying.
It kind of came up in the news recently, right? Where they're like, there's like some job listings or something about specifically mentioning bringing to competing platforms for Sony. So it's like, I feel like it's definitely not any of the major things you would think. Like, it's not going to be a Last of Us. It's not going to be God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, or Yote. But Yeah, I don't know.
It's it's one to put out there. Oh man, um, I was just scrolling through something and I see that 8 hours ago, 007 First Light made a tweet. Enter the 00 status. Oh, 007 status. 007 perhaps? Who knows? Who knows? 30 minutes. We've made a lot of predictions. If every single one of the games we said it shows up, then that will be the 30 minutes. That showcase will be.
Yeah, I
If
think
we
you're
predicted
right.
everything, I mean, fucking, what are you doing? People subscribe and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right though. I think 007's probably an easy one to show up here again. The only thing is that like I think they kind of IO got a little bit of heat for the Hitman Switch 2 port. Apparently it's not doing the best, so
But wait, you mean the Switch 2 version that just came out?
yeah, apparently there's like performance
Uh,
issues with it and stuff, so
yeah, I know the first time the Switch 3 sorry, Hitman 3 came out for the Switch 1, that was like the cloud version of that game,
mhm.
which really was shocked me at the time. I was like, just the fact of cloud games, and now I guess it's becoming the normal. So we'll see. Yeah, find out next episode what gets revealed during the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. But there'll be a few more things next week that we'll be talking about. There's also a special little showcase. Well, actually, tomorrow, as of when we're recording this, there is the Battlefield 6 multiplayer reveal. So we'll maybe talk a little bit more about that next week. Kind of just sharing general thoughts. There has been a shit ton of leaks regarding this game already. I've not been like staying away from them like the plague, but I have been generally trying not to look just because I'll get the excitement of it when I watch it live tomorrow, or like, when it goes up tomorrow. And so yeah, that's happening. Then on Friday, August 1st, there is the THQ Nordic Digital Showcase. That will be, I don't think they announced a runtime on this, but we know for a fact that we'll be seeing The Eternal Life of Goldman, a game that I think had really caught my eye. And I know, Nick, you also
Mhm.
fancied it. And then they also will be sharing details about the long-awaited Titan Quest 2. I believe those are the two. Oh, and as well as Gothic 1 Remake. That's another one I have been keeping my eye on. Reanimal, which looks crazy.
Mhm.
Wreckfest 2 and more. And they've specifically said in the email that they've shared with us that they do have a few aces up their sleeve. So, and you know what? I'll leave this little tease that they added in here. So they said, think dark and thrilling, or colorful and heartwarming, or even a true family game, and some that nobody's expecting.
Well, I hope Dark and Thrilling is Darksiders because
Darksiders,
they teased that I think last year at one of their showcases, and
it was like the end. Yeah, it was just like a one shot, I think, of Darksiders.
I've played a good, over the years I've played a bunch of games from THQ, but like Darksiders was like the one franchise under them that like kind of cut through. I don't know if it was always under THQ or if it was just like in the recent years that it's been under them, but that was one that I always kind of enjoy playing. It's like not like, 10 out of 10 experiences, but they're usually like pretty good fun games with a strong art style, and they usually change up the gameplay between the games. So I'm definitely really curious to see what a new game in that series looks like, especially if it's coming from Gunfire, because they'd be hot off of the Remnant games. So maybe get some of that design philosophy into a new Darksiders, I think could be really cool. Family game, I feel or the bright and colorful.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, like, so there's colorful and heartwarming. I feel like that's probably like some sort of a SpongeBob game.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like I feel like that's kind of a lock.
But a true family game. What games? I'm looking briefly at like the last few titles that they've released.
I mean, when you said that, I'll tell you, my mind immediately went to a Fast and Furious game. Like That feels like that's them being like cheeky, being like,
here.
this is, yes, family.
I also thought of that, but I was like, why, how would that happen? Why would that happen? I don't know why. I instantly, first reaction was yes. There's going to be a Fast and Furious game, but if they are being serious and it is a family game, the last family game that they've released is Disney Epic Mini Rebrushed. And then well, first of all, a lot of dark shit. I mean, there's Gothic 2 Classic, Alone in the Dark, Gothic Classic, Titan Quest, Remnant 2. I think they published it for one of the ports maybe. But yeah, dude. Oh, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? They did publish that. Something up that alley. Yeah, I don't know what that would be. And then obviously the big tease is some that nobody's expecting. Very, very curious about what that means and what that will entail. So looking forward to that again. Come back next week and we'll have our reactions to that. And if you missed it, we'll have our we'll share what the announcements are over there as well. All right. With that said, let me throw a few in here, Nick. All right.
Sure.
You had mentioned 2 million copies earlier for Metaphor ReFantazio. This is a crazy one. Ready or Not, the hot new first-person shooter, tactical first-person shooter that has you playing as like I guess like a cop that essentially, well, I'll say this, you're a SWAT team actually.
Yeah.
Puts players into high risk and realistic scenarios involving SWAT teams. You might have seen clips from this game. It just came out on consoles on July 15th, so like 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, and they've announced earlier today that they have sold 2 million copies.
Wow.
Of the game, which is impressive. But that when you add that to the already PC release, they have now sold over 11 million copies across all platforms.
Wow,
so,
I did not know it was that big on PC. I knew it was big and
huge.
Popular,
congratulations to Void Interactive, because that those are crazy numbers. And
that also feels like
it's available now.
It's another experience that's like, nobody's making this, so we'll do it. Like, it feels like it's harkening back to that like classic Rainbow Six or like SWAT kind of series. Yeah. And it's just like it's always reassuring to see when a company does do that or like take that approach to a game and then it still finds success like that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's priced at $50 on Steam, and it's also available. I'm not sure what the price is, but it's available on consoles as well. So PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. So check it out if you're interested in Ready or Not. And then with that said, also Nick, did you catch the Hell Is Us gameplay that they put out?
No,
it was nothing crazy. It was nothing crazy. Yeah, it's just like a dungeon run that they were showing off. But yeah, if you're looking forward to that game, the little like Death Stranding and check that out. Last game that I'll quickly shout out, that kind of came in through the inbox is one that really this one caught my eye for obvious reasons. So developed by Rock Square Thunder, I Hate This Place is a craft-focused isometric survival horror game filled with twisted monsters and warped realities, all in a bold comic book art style dripping with an 80s horror vibe. This is being developed in partnership with Skybound Entertainment because they are the ones that published the comic books that this game is based off of.
Yeah,
and the cool thing about that is also, Nick, this might get you excited as well. Before I let you talk. So founded in 2024, Broken Mirror Games is a co-development horror label under Bloober Team.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw like a PlayStation post a trailer for this, and the title immediately stuck out to me. So I've only seen like a little bit of the trailer, but definitely seems like it might be like a fun time, especially if you're looking for some kind of bite-sized horror kind of, game with a strong sense of style.
Yeah, no, I agree. And should, given that things don't change, plans don't completely go sideways, we will be playing that. We'll get hands on that with games at Gamescom. We have it booked. We're in for
Nice.
the slot, and so we'll share kind of thoughts and first impressions when we get to play it. So look forward to that in a little bit, a few weeks. All right, Nick. That's what else do you wanna? Where do you want to take this?
Well, I guess we should also just briefly mention, like at the top, that there's a Wolfenstein TV series that was also announced recently from Kilter Films and Amazon. Obviously, if that sounds familiar, they are the production studio behind Fallout. So, cool to see them tackling another game IP. Wolfenstein, I think, is an interesting choice. I guess that would come out of the Bethesda relationship with Fallout, because I feel like they probably talked with the same people to make that happen. It's definitely got a vibe that I think they'll be able to execute well based on how they executed Fallout.
It's actually similar when you think about it, right? Like it's that same kind of cheeky humor that's like dark but also like self-aware
and like post-war, but like also future. So
retro-futuristic too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it'll be an interesting series to kind of get as a follow-up to Fallout, or like a concurrent production with Fallout. It'll just be interesting to see how, if they decide to take it in a different direction to the recent games, or if they kind of lean into that like kind of like wacky, you know, tonal clash kind of vibe that those newer games have.
Yeah, didn't they also just confirm that they're working on something else too? Some other IP that I think that they were thrown.
I think Amazon,
but
specifically, but I'm not sure if it was Kilter. There was something recently, but I'm struggling to remember what it was.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll think about that, or we'll mention that if it comes to us by the next episode. Then we got. So we'll touch on Battlefield 6 a little bit, because the EA suggests that Battlefield 6 will be $70, not $80. Obviously, we'll probably get more about that tomorrow, because I mean, tomorrow we'll get essentially the multiplayer reveal, probably some sort of like pre-order page, because there's going to be a closed and open betas that are be coming up soon. So, probably like pre-order and you get access to the closed beta for a week or something. And then if you don't, you can get the open beta for like 2 days, like a weekend or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. That makes sense. So probably somewhere around there, we'll see the price tag go up. And hopefully it won't be a similar situation to the Outer Worlds 2, where I think it would be foolish for them to go for 80, just because, again, they're already starting on the back foot. I know people are like, whoa, the Battlefield 6 looks so good. And we definitely said some of that last time too. But they are still in the back foot with how 2042 went. That's right. I remember the name of the game. And it would be like shooting themselves in the foot to be like, let's actually go for $80. But we'll see again.
Especially after Microsoft just backed down and like Call of Duty won't be 70. Like that's an immediate death sentence. If they're like, we're going to ask for 80 over Call of Duty. Like,
Yep. So more to come as that story develops.
So, lastly, there's also this story that kind of popped up this week, which is that Sony is suing Tencent over we'll be honest, a Horizon clone called Light of Motirum, I believe is how you say it. And yeah, they have like this big lawsuit that they are brewing up against Tencent, with a bunch of different examples of like side-by-side screenshots. I saw they pulled like Steam like comments saying that it's like, man, this is just a shameless Horizon clone and stuff. And if you look at it, it is uncanny. it like visual elements of like the environments of character designs are carried over. They have the like futuristic robot dinosaur kind of look. Even the font that they use for the title looks like almost the same. It's It's pretty unabashed.
Yeah. No, obviously this is causing a lot of conversation, mainly because people are thinking, hey, Sony's going Nintendo on this. Obviously, with the Nintendo and Pal World situation still undergoing. Uh, the difference here seems to be that apparently Tencent went to Sony and asked to make a Horizon spinoff that was set in Asia, and Sony declined, and then they did it anyway by rebranding everything,
Mm-hmm.
to the light of Motoram. Motoram? But yeah, no, there's so much of this that feels just. Look, it takes a quick glance for you to realize this was announced. It seems 8 months ago at this point. I didn't even realize. I thought it was like some like fest or like game fest or game awards or something like that. But no, it's
Mm-hmm.
just November 29th, 2024,
Yeah, and like
and they announced it. Yeah.
it's pretty funny because I was watching like a couple videos or like just talking heads talking about it, and one funny thing is like so in Horizon there's like like the tall grass that a lot of open world games have that you can like sneak through. Well, apparently in Horizon a lot of it is like red flowers and red grass, specifically because Aloy has red hair and it's to like blend in more. And apparently this Tencent game carried over the red tall grass, but for seemingly no actual reason. Like it's just like because they had tall red grass in the game. And yeah, there's some really damning kind of comparisons that are being drawn, and I think it's going to be extremely hard for Tencent to put up like an actual argument to suggest that it's differentiated enough.
Yeah. This is one of the things that I always think is weird with like Tencent. I know like they're a really big company, and that's kind of the problem is that they're so big. They're working on such like a large bandwidth of money that they can essentially be like, yeah, like that game did well. Let's just throw a bunch of money at this, essentially a clone, and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand you how you can get this close without kind of. I mean, I'm not saying there's no changes at all or anything. There's some, you can tell that they've like changed or added some features that aren't in Horizon. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe I've played like 5-6 hours of Horizon. I don't believe you ever turn into one of the robots, like I think you do in this, seemingly in this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. We'll see how this plays out as well. I'm very curious to just the resolution of this,
Yeah, because
and I think that. Go ahead.
one of the videos that I was watching, I think it was from Luke Stevens talking about it. He was like delving into the actual like court document that's been posted online, and apparently like Sony's like trying to go the distance with it. Like they fully want to like terminate the development and like have it not release and everything. So it's like it'll
Yeah.
be curious to see if they are even able to get it to that point in the lawsuit. I don't really understand how all that stuff really works. That's way above my casual gamer pay grade, but
No, I mean, it'd be crazy if this does come out. I don't know how that would, because this is a different situation from like Pal World, because Nintendo hit them after Pal World was already like, Pal World came out and it was instant success, and people were like, hold on, and then like Nintendo's like, oh, let's take a closer look at this.
mhm.
But yeah, they're trying to kill this before it comes out. It makes sense considering it's so close to the look and of their IP. But again, I'm sure that there's a lot of hard work that went into this into light of Motoram, but it's a crazy situation to be in, and it's not surprising that this is this is happening.
Yeah.
If you look at the game, but yeah, that's some light of Motoram.
Alrighty. Before we get into our main topic and pitching our dream fighting game, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
Yeah, I want to get down there just in case. Like, I don't know what it does yet, so just in case it takes a bit of time. I want to give us plenty of time to do it.
Yeah.
Is it one of the, okay, that's an Evertail. Okay.
All right, I opened it.
Oh
Oh,
shit!
you summoned a fucking boss!
Boy, wasn't that a great sponsor, Sri? I never know how to get out of that section, but
I especially love the music. Yeah, it was really good.
it's classic. Maybe I'll have to switch it up one of these days. You never know. Keep the listeners on their toes. But yeah, Evo, big fighting game tournament. Everything fighting games is happening this weekend. I guess before we get into pitching the game, why don't we just have like a little quick chat about Evo, like our familiarity with fighting games? Do you even like fighting games? Like, where's your personal barometer at with things like Evo and the fighting game community?
Oh man, this is one of those things where I have a general feeling about this regarding like I would love to get into watching competitive games. I watch a lot of like kind of game commentary and also like playing game commentary and commentary on games, both of those. I watch a lot of those. But I don't actually watch a lot of esports and stuff like that. I did a little bit last few weeks because someone we both know, the DP of my last film is with Team Liquid. So I was kind of like just cheering him on. Shout out Cav. Just for the moral support, really. I was tuning in for that for the last few weeks. But no, I have such little experience in this. So that's a base level, right? And then part of me feels like, okay, so Evo has this year has 16 titles, including Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, Guilty Gear Strive. And I was really tempted to get into one of those because I feel like that's the way in. I can't just watch it and be like, oh yeah, totally, yeah, that's working. I have to like get hands on, understand how hard it is, and then or like how intense it can be, and then be like watch it and be like, whoa, what the hell is happening? So that's always been a thought in my head, of like the back of my head, like, oh man, I should really pick up a fighting game. Even like we were talking about the Switch too. I was scrolling past the 50th hentai game on the eShop. I almost got I think there was like a Marvel versus Capcom collection or something like that was on there. And I was debating that because it was on deep sale. I was like, this might be my time, but I didn't end up picking that up. But it'd be interesting for me to actually get into it. Evo's obviously this weekend, August 1st through the 3rd. So by the time next episode rolls around, it'll be over. But man, I'll still be tuning in just because I know I tuned in last year. We were doing a podcast back then too. We did it last year, and I did tune in, and there was like that crazy play, or I tuned into that. You had told me about something, and I went and watched it. That's essentially the extent of what happened last year. So if I can watch that live, anything close to that live, that'd be incredible.
Yeah, for me, fighting games, I'm extreme casual when it comes to them, but I do every once in a while pick one up and it kind of gets its hooks into me. Specifically Street Fighter 6, when that came out, I played through like the single player of that. I played the Killer Instinct from 2013 a couple years ago, had a really fun time with that. Like, I'm casually into the newer Mortal Kombats and that sort of stuff. And I feel like for a fighting game specifically, like, I latch on to style over, I don't want to say style over substance, because some of these games have both. They have the style and the substance, but it's like the characters have to be interesting to me. The gameplay has to be kind of flashy. Like, I know that probably is just like, some diehard fighting game fans are probably just like, oh, freaking casual here, just needs bright colors and sparks.
What the hell is he saying?
On all the hits and everything. So, but like, it is kind of true where it's like, the reason that I gravitated towards Killer Instinct was like, I was like, oh, look, there's this weird like robot character and fighting a pirate skeleton, and you hit a button and you hear the announcer go like combo breaker and stuff. Like, it's a lot of the style kind of really is what does the heavy lifting to get me interested into the games. And then
Yeah.
like after I played Street Fighter 6, then I went back and played a little bit of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, because that was kind of like, you know, in my casual research, it's like that seems to be like one of the like the more respected games in the series and everything. So then I try to dabble with like, you know, retro games here and there. But it's usually around this time of the year where I find myself in the mood for a fighting game or whatever, probably because of Evo, and it's just in the conversation
100%.
a lot more. I do think it's really interesting that this year Marvel Tokon is going to be playable there, so we're definitely going to be seeing some new footage and probably some breakdowns and everything of that game specifically, which both you and I were pretty kind of impressed with at the Sony showcase.
What they showed off, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so there's always...
It's also... Well, I was just going to say, this is also, like, Evo is Sony's thing now. Like, PlayStation has a huge stake in it, so they're also, you know, also launching the gamepad or the arcade stick for fighting games for PlayStation, or it might be for PC as well. But either way, it's like PlayStation players can play it. Across PlayStation, there's a whole bunch of sales. So I saw that. So here, I actually have a list here. So Tekken 8 is 50% off. Fatal Fury is 40% off. I don't even know. Under Night in Birth is 50% off. Grand Blue Fantasy, fucking goddamn, 61% off. A whole bunch of sales going on PlayStation until August 13th for you know, kind of preparing for Evo. So they're really going all in here. I think if there was, like, in the past, I agree with you, where, like, I think subconsciously as I was on Twitter or like just a general gaming sphere, I'd scroll through and be like, whoa, why are there so many fighting game clips showing up on my feed? And then, like, some part of me is like, maybe I should play fighting games. But this time it's really like, you can't miss it. It's, you know, they've gone all in.
Yeah. And I think, you know, it is a tournament first and foremost, but you do get these like little announcements here and there for a lot of different companies, you know, whether or not this game's getting like rollback netcode, or like, you know, a new season gets announced for DLC content for games. So there'll be like some bits and bobs here and there that, you know, are conversation worthy and stuff, or might like serve to get people into these older fighting games. I don't mean like retro, I mean, you know, just stuff from like the last couple years here, right? But it being a tournament is kind of funny, because I do think that while elements of like the FGC and stuff you can find on the internet, or, you know, it's a giant community, it has its toxic components to it, I feel like around Evo specifically, it's usually pretty good vibes all the way throughout. It's usually people like just sharing crazy clips of like masters of these games going at it, and like showing off a supreme, you know, mastery of game mechanics and like frame data and just all this crazy stuff. And then it's funny because as somebody that, you know, maybe doesn't have the full context for a specific game, you just kind of watch like stuff happening on screen, and then you get that massive crowd just erupting into roars and like applause and stuff, and you're like, oh, something cool definitely just happened. Like, I maybe don't understand it, but it's easy to get caught up in like the hype and the excitement.
Yeah, you're just cheering because, you know, like you should be cheering. Like, it's like, oh yeah, this is the what's worth. This is impressive. You know.
So yeah, I guess we can transition then into our dream fighting game, Sri. So this, I think, was just kind of a fun little topic that we thought of to try to wrap it around Evo and just kind of have something a little bit fun to go back and forth on. I know you prepared kind of like a list of like kind of subtopics or points that we can kind of go back and forth on.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? The goal that we had approaching is this: just generally, we are building our dream fighting game. The game that would get us in to the door. You know, every game that I've played, like I'm curious about. Like, at the airport last month, I played Tekken 8. All right.
I still love that.
It was
at the airport. Like,
that's the only time I've played Tekken 8, and the 30 minutes I've had with it, I was like, "Whoa, that's kind of interesting." But I have not gone like I've seen it on the shelf since, like I've at the store, and I've not picked it up. It's just not. It's not a game that I'll get to anytime soon, especially with so many other things going on.
mhm.
So these are games that we're trying to build that if it got announced, we'd be like, "Oh, I'm there. Day one." Now, I do have some, a few points that we can kind of walk through so that we can kind of fill in the blank. Well, how we're going to do it is we're going to both. So I'll say each one, and then Nick will give his ideal game. I'll share like the aspect of my ideal game, but I will quickly throw out there. First of all, I mean, we're also going to like take out the obvious if there was a Respawn Station fighting game, I'd feel like I'd play that,
Right.
that is a totally different kind of animal. That's a gimme. If there was a Respawn Station fighting game, or a Respawn Station was featured in a fighting game, I mean, I'm there day one to get my ass handed to me. All right. I'll be there. It'd be very, actually, now that I've talked myself into it, imagine a Game Critic fighting game. It's just like you just put in, Kyle Bossman versus Greg Miller, and then it's just,
That has
I can
to
see
exist somewhere. I feel like that either in fan art or something. That probably exists.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 100%. And with that said, there's an idea that I did have for something, but I'll maybe share at the end because I don't think it's necessarily, it's too niche. I want to think of something plausible within the idea. So, Nick, the first bullet is the core concept. What is the core concept of your dream fighting game?
Yeah, so I don't know specifically if this idea will fit into all of the bullet points, but I'll try my best, because I did have an idea for a fighting game that I think would be really, really cool, and it's not going to come as any surprise to anybody that listens to this podcast, but I think there is a way that you could do a really interesting concept with a Fallout fighting game. And the way that I thought of this concept was it would be like your traditional 1v1 fighter, like a Mortal Kombat or a Street Fighter, but instead of taking away health from your opponent, you're building up their radiation meter. And essentially, once they run out of their first health bar, or go to their second, health bar, that like a lot of fighting games do, essentially your character will mutate, and then you gain a new move set, or some kind of new ability that you can use in the next round. And I was like,
interesting.
Whenever I thought of that, I was like, man, that a Fallout fighting game would be just so out of left field. I don't think that would ever actually happen. But I feel like, you have all the different locations.
Friggin' Fallout Shelter happened.
Yeah, I mean, you have all the different locations from all the different games that could make up your stages. I don't want to get too ahead of that, but
I mean, you got me thinking, man. Megaton, but the nuke explodes at the end of the match.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, or if you defeat your opponent in under a minute or something, it explodes, right, and just ruins everything. Yeah. You have any number of games to pull from for locations.
Yeah. I can't give you too much help here, but yeah. We'll also get to some of the other things that could make it interesting. But yeah.
What about you? What's where are you tackling this from?
So I was tackling it from a, I was trying to think of similar to you. I was like, what's a universe that I could, that I really like, that I could see a fighting game in, and I think what I ended up, there's quite a few ideas that I was like, that could be interesting, that could be compelling, that I ultimately knocked out. That I didn't include. Like the part of me was like, what? Like, I'm gonna throw out one of the stupid ones I had just because I was like, how wild I went before I reined it in. I was like, I like Need for Speed. What about a car fighting game? Does one exist? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if if one exists, but as soon as you said that, like, well, now it makes me think because it's like drag racing. Like that could be like a weird, like, visual interpretation of like two sides going at it or something. But I mean, more so where I think you were probably going with it, where I think would be the more fun way would be like a cars smashing into each other and like demolition derby style,
essentially.
I guess.
Yeah, or like like last minute tail whip, and how does that impact? So yeah, need for Speed. I don't know what it would be called, like Need for Action,
Need for Fight.
need for Fight. That was where my mind went initially, kind of like as like oh wow, what if I do? But then I reined it in, and I said, what if? All right, it's been a while since we've gotten, Nick, a PlayStation All-Star game. So we changed the scope. It's PlayStation Universe, full on, like it's like a Mortal Kombat style fighting game. PlayStation, obviously PlayStation icons are included in there, and just generally you get to. And I also thought about this, right? Because it's a core concept. How does this happen, Nick? You might be wondering. I know you're asking yourself this question, but like, how does it make sense? So it starts, and it's Nick, just close your eyes, right? So you're sitting there, the PlayStation State of Play is happening, and there's a dark shadow, and Kratos steps out. You see his bald form.
He's
like, boy. And he goes, boy, what are you doing? And then the kid's like, look at this, Dad. And he's holding a PlayStation Portal. And
that was not where I was going with that in my head.
Kratos picks it up. Portal turns into a real portal. He gets sucked in to the portal, and boom, we're into the world. This is it. PlayStation Fighters, or something. But the S is a Z. And boom, like that's how. And like same thing. Like Joel's walking down the street, and he's like, Ellie, where are you? And then there's like a sound. He turns around, PlayStation Portal, picks it up, into the game. He's gone. And that's how you do it. And so then here's the thing, Nick. Now I'm setting up Smash style intros for these fucking characters, right? Every State of Play, PlayStation can come in and be like, who's the character they're gonna add to PlayStation Fighters?
Yeah,
it builds up
like
this
the Smash
suspense.
Brothers ones always had the envelope, like the invitation. It would be the portal that they're coming in. They'd start every single trailer with this portal.
Yeah,
I could totally see it. Did you play the original PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I played it a couple years ago as well, and I think I would love to see them go back to it. Like that first attempt is a very weird game, honestly. Like when you look at the roster, it's like there's some PlayStation stuff, but it's like BioShock or the Big Daddy from BioShock. It's like I don't really necessarily think of that. You could get like Isaac Clarke from Dead Space and like all this other stuff. Like it's a very weird game, and I think if they were to do like a like you said, like a Mortal Kombat-esque like thing, and especially like we're able to nail down a lot of the like PlayStation specific like characters, I would totally be down for that, honestly. Like I don't even think it would be that like hard of a sell for people, honestly. Like
I agree. It would be. I would love to see it, and I think that's kind of where the idea came from. Was like, oh, it's like a PlayStation All Stars, but then like again, we make it fighting, and again, it's that hyper real Mortal Kombat 2, like 1v1, like side by side, classic fighting game mechanics and stuff. So let's get into the next thing, because I think that'll kind of line us up. So the next point is character roster. Do you have any like characters that you're like, okay, let's, these are the characters that have to be in the game, or at some point we'll have to make like some sort of cameo additions, battle pass, whatever?
Yeah. For yours specifically, I think like Joel and Ellie for sure would immediately be in there. I think.
Kratos.
Yeah.
I feel like because with the style, Astrobot can't be in this.
No, I disagree.
Oh, yeah?
You take Astrobot and you give him the proportions of a true character. And so he's the weird wild card one, but he's like super buff and like,
Okay.
He still has the face, but like the eyes will animate and everything like that. I disagree.
Shape's the same,
like,
but it's just a giant
he would look
LCD
like
screen.
Pepsi Man, if you know what Pepsi Man looks like.
That's exactly 100%. Okay, all right, I'm sold.
Yeah, Kratos and Atreus, I think for sure. I think the ghost protagonists for sure.
I mean, if I'm getting technical, it would probably be harder to get these characters in, but it would be also cool. Is Spider-Man and Wolverine, or anyone from that Marvel universe from Insomniac that they're working on, I think would be like a easy inclusion. Again, I'm gonna throw this out there. I mean, hey, if Nintendo's making these collabs, why not PlayStation? Cloud from obviously Final Fantasy,
yeah.
Aloy from Horizon. We're just talking about it. Hey, maybe the settlement for the lawsuit will be whatever that character from Light of Mortaram will also appear here. It'll be part of the deal.
I think for like a DLC
Drake?
character. Oh yeah, Drake. That's a good one. Yeah. For a DLC character. So we're already post-launch now. For a DLC character, they do the impossible and they get a Microsoft character and have Master Chief as a fighter.
Or Marcus Phoenix.
Yeah, so people can act out the console wars in this game.
Oh man, brutal, crazy. Or reinventing. Great. I don't know what his name is, but Ghost, the guy from Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, Jin Sakai, one. I think is his name.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Jin. I don't know who else would like. Who acted? Oh, Clive Rosenfeld from Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, he'd be a good one too. Get that Ben Starr voice in there.
Yeah, that's.
Is there any other big mascot that you would say like? I mean, like, because again, there's Ratchet and Clank. I don't think I can be convinced into Ratchet and Clank being it, unless Ratchet and Clank were like standing on each other's shoulders. Maybe I talked myself into it, but
yeah, I think we're definitely in the like modern Sony era, which I think is like where most of the roster would go. But I would, for a game like this, I would want them to go back into the back catalog and specifically get like Sly Cooper. Like, I think that would be a really cool character to have in there. I think
I got two more.
Go for it.
The guy from Bloodborne. I don't know his name.
Just like a hunter from Bloodborne. I could totally see that happening. Nothing radio silence from Bloodborne, but they get like a random fighter in this fighting game. Like, I could totally see that.
And again, you get that moment. I'm putting myself in that state of play, right? I'm picturing that reaction montage of like, it's like the black screen. And the Bloodborne music plays, and people are like, Bloodborne 2! And no, he sees the portal, and bam, he's gone. He's in PlayStation Portal. The guy from Days Gone, don't know his name. But
Deacon St. John.
He's another one. What the fuck, Nick? How the hell you know his name?
Because it's such a weird name for a character. It's always stuck with me. I've never even played that game, but I know that name.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that. A Helldiver,
a generic guy from Helldiver.
I
was just gonna say generic dude.
Out. They had in the original PlayStation All Stars Colonel Radek from Killzone, so like a Hellgast or something like that could be like a you know, like we're saying we have like the two ghost characters or like Ellie and Joel. It's like Helldivers and that I could see that.
I had another one, an obvious one, Nick. I don't know how we forgot it. Sam Bridges from Death Stranding 2 or Death Stranding 1.
That would be a fun one. Yeah, you
then
get like punched and you hear like the bridge baby crying or whatever.
Yeah. You know, he's still wearing the bridge baby. It's part of the combo system. You get to include it somewhere. Here's a crazy one. Here's a wild card. All right. A racer from Gran Turismo. He's got his helmet on, is full kitted out in his outfit. You know, like he's like one of the generic ones, you know. He's not like a great fighter. You just throw him on there. He's fine. Just gotta throw it in there for padding.
In Smash Brothers, you know, they'll like have certain final smashes, like the Star Fox characters, where like an R-wing will come in and hit somebody. They like call in a car that just like comes in and smacks an
F1 car just plows through. I mean, there you go. And then like you were saying, if we go back, Infamous, the Cole,
yeah, of course,
I think,
Cole McGrath,
yeah, I think that'd be a great one. Man, PlayStation has an incredible roster that you can really dive into. So, hey, Sony. Oh shit, Nick, we should have said this earlier. Any ideas that are said in this video or in this stream are actually owned by Respawn Station. So you got to give us the Mooney. Only Nick gets that joke.
Yep.
I'm now, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm scrolling through the games that I have played and then picking out PlayStation titles. The guys, the Knights from the Order 1886.
Oh, that'd be sick. That would be sick. You can, because they would have like knives and stuff, plus like their like steampunk kind of weaponry,
freaking
that you could
Gatling
use.
gun type of thing. Yeah,
that would
100%. That'd be good.
That'd be sick. For mine, that's the poison.
Yeah, let's go to Fallout
with Fallout, because there's like character types, but there's not really like a defined character that I would say would work well for it. It's like you could have like the Vault Dweller character, a ghoul character, a super mutant character, or like a robot. But like,
so yeah, I agree.
I don't think I would want like choice. Piper from Fallout 4 to like show up as a fighter.
See, maybe it's just like the only one that I can really think of off the top of my head, but Three Dog comes to mind. Though I don't know if Three Dog would just be the announcer, like, you know, like all right, folks, let's get into it. You know,
he's the announcer, the narrator of the match to call things out. That would be so great. Yeah, I love that.
I'm thinking, I don't know how impressive it would be. And again, this is your game. We'll develop it as we go. But like, the main character from Fallout 4 is a character, but then he would have like a combo that brings in dog meat, you know, like his whatever like special move would be dog meat comes in and fucking rips someone's balls off.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think there's so many weird like mutated creatures that you could definitely do like cool characters around those. All the different like robot types, like even if it was like just picking different variations to like have like a different move set or something, I think that would be really cool.
So Nick, here's what I'll throw it at you real fast. This is an article from thegamer.com, and these are the best characters in the series. So there's 20 of these, and I'm gonna list them, and you tell me if they're in the game or not. The King from
that would be,
I don't know what Fallout that's from.
That'd be
3?
New Vegas.
Or New Vegas. New Vegas, yeah.
That would be a funny pick, I suppose. What a pull. Just to start out with this, the King from Fallout New Vegas. See, I can come at it from two angles here. I can come at it from like, would this be a fun character to use? But then I also think with the radiation mutation mechanic, it's like, would I be interested in these characters like having like a weird, disgusting mutated form that they evolve into?
Right.
I think the King would be a fun one. He's like an Elvis impersonator.
All right, number 19 is what I said, Three Dog, but we already said he's the announcer.
Mm-hmm.
Number 18. I'm also going through this list for the first time, by the way. Sean, the father from Fallout 4, it seems. So yeah, there you go. I didn't know he had a name, but he's the father.
Plot wise, that's not who you play as. Spoilers, but it's a different
okay.
character. But that one,
okay.
I don't know if that would make a great character.
How about Dog God from New Vegas? The Dead Money DLC, Dog God.
Yeah, I knew it was from there. They would fit in with the like super mutant character. I think there would probably be a different character that I would pick for like a named Fallout character, but it definitely.
What's the guy in Fallout 3 that? Oh no, he's a super mutant that hates violence, right? Isn't that he's like, I don't want violence.
It's
and so like you just save him. I forget his name.
It's
Fox. Maybe he'll be on this list.
Fawkes, I think.
Oh yeah. All right, Joshua Graham.
He could make a pretty cool one. He's from New Vegas.
He looks pretty cool. Yeah, I just see him now. Just a full bandage wrap. That's pretty sick, actually.
And he's like, when you meet him in the Honest Hearts DLC, he's just like loading pistols like off to the side. So pretty cool.
Harold from Fallout 3.
Harold. That would be... I don't know
a
how
weird
you
one.
would
It's
do
just a
that
tree.
one. Yeah, just a massive tree. Maybe he gets like legs or something, and he looks kind of like a tree ant from Lord of the Rings. But
oh yeah.
I could see that. I would give that one a slot as like another weird pick.
Okay. Okay, I don't actually have one that's like maps or anything, which is weird. I should probably have included that as well. There is world building that we'll get to in a second.
Sure.
But I'm thinking, right, one of the maps for Fallout. I don't know why this visual came in my head. This has nothing to do with the next guy I'm about to read. But like it's the end of Fallout 3, and it's essentially like you're fighting on like imagine like a ridge or like a ledge, and in the background you see Liberty Prime walking across the bridge, just in the distance, like
you get the quotes in the background and stuff, him throwing like the giant gas tank bombs. Like, no, that would be so sick. You could do so much. When you mentioned like the levels and stuff, you could do so much with it, because you have like New Vegas would be like visually distinct. Any of the DLCs are also visually distinct, so you could pull on any of those. The TV show, I guess you could even pull from.
That's true. I mean, you got Ghoul from the TV show. He's pretty infamous now. All right, number 14, Vance. He hopes to see Vance, the leader of these vampires known as a family.
Oh, that's Fallout 3 then. He'd be kind of a... I don't know if I'd like to see that one specifically. He's like a weird like vampire.
You can downvote him. You can get him out of there.
I'm going to downvote that one.
What the fuck is this, dude? This is older. This is before my Fallout. This is the Master?
That is the final boss from Fallout 1.
Machine.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh.
That's another weird one, kind of like Harold, where I think he's like grafted into a computer or something. So it's like...
Yeah, he is 100%. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
I don't know if I would include the Master, but like maybe have like a mutated form of another character be like inspired by it, where it's like, growing over somebody specifically.
Like a monitor.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a monitor with flesh growing out. Yeah. Number 12, Frank Horrigan. I feel like that's a good one.
That's Fallout 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd make a good like power armor fighter, I think, would be a good one.
Yeah. This is the president, John Henry Aiden.
That, as depicted in the games, I don't think that would translate at all. That would be a good like background, like stage, I feel like. Just have him like off in the background on a screen or something.
The Machinist is apparently appeared in multiple Fallout games.
Yeah, Fallout 3 and 4. That would be a goofy pick. That I kind of put that on the same tier as like the King, Like it's
Oh, sure.
definitely
Okay.
essentially, you may or may not remember it. It's in Fallout 3. It's the Mechanist and the Antagonizer, and they're like two people that are like pretending to be comic book villains and heroes fighting in this one town.
Yes. Oh wow. Yeah, I completely blanked that out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could see it. That could be like a fun one, or like maybe like a costume or something as like a reference. I could see that.
Mr. New Vegas. Obviously, from
They
New
would
Vegas.
fit in because yeah, they're the radio DJ. They're the three dog of New Vegas, essentially. Voiced by Wayne Newton. Fun fact.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know. Damn.
I would prefer, I think, Three Dog. I think Three Dog would fit the fighting game vibe a lot better.
How about the leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, Arthur Maxson.
Could work. I think I would go for Paladin Dance from Fallout 4 before I would go with Maxon, just because we know Dance is a man of action and can also be like a power armor kind of cohort across from Frank Oregon.
Right. All right. Next, we're in the top 7 here. Ulysses.
From New Vegas.
Yeah.
It could be a cool one. I feel like Ulysses, he would fit the, in some of these fighting games, how they have like a kind of like the emo, like moody character. They're like usually like a dark, twisted one. Like I feel like Ulysses could kind of slip into that kind of a vibe.
How about Nick Valentine?
100%. I would absolutely have him as like a character. You get that synth kind of faction from Fallout 4, but also like Nick Valentine's design is just so cool. I feel like that's one of the when it comes to Fallout 4, like I am a fan of that game, obviously, like I've 100% at that game and everything. But when I compare it to 3 in New Vegas, I feel like 4 doesn't have as much like iconic like designs as those games. But Nick Valentine is one specifically where it's like, oh yeah, that like that's immediately Fallout 4 to me. So yeah, I would totally have him in.
Well, speaking of iconic stuff from Fallout 3, I don't know how the hell to pronounce it, but from Tranquility Lane, Stanislas Brown.
I wouldn't include
Stanislaus.
Yeah, they're just kind of like a messed up scientist essentially.
Yeah,
I don't know. If
I remember. I just don't know how to say the name. I do remember. I love this quest from the game, but Tranquility Lane is one of my favorite quests from Fallout 3. But I just don't. I did not realize. I did not know at all how to pronounce that name.
That would make a good stage, also like black and white stage.
Oh, black and white. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Tranquility Lane. Paladin Dance.
Yep, mentioned him. So yeah, he would be like that.
Oh yeah,
power armor wearer.
And then Dogmeat. Benny from New Vegas as well.
Benny would be a good one. I'd include that. I think that would be a fun kind of. You could
have
like
number one, according to thegamer.com, best Fallout NPC. Nick, do you have a guess? Number 1 best Fallout character.
Give me a game.
You already... Oh, okay. Fallout 3.
Fallout 3. Okay. Would it be your father, Liam Neeson?
No, that's a good one, too. We got to get Liam Neeson back in there.
I'm surprised.
We've talked about this character already, actually.
Huh. I already talked about them, and we...
You gave me the name, in fact.
Shit, I can't remember. This was like 5 minutes ago.
It's Guy Fawkes.
Fox. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have probably Fox in for the mutant character. I'm surprised that kind of applies pretty well. Like, I mean, there's some that like we kind of turned down there, but like,
yeah,
I guess there are enough characters that you could do a fun fighting game take on them.
And obviously, you can buy it for $20, $19.99. I was gonna say $10 initially, and then I was like, no, corporate greed glasses got to come on. For $19.99, you can buy the Fallout TV show pack, so you can get, you know, the girl, the guy, the freaking power armor dude, and then also the ghoul, all three from the TV show. All right, next up we have mechanics. We've already touched on a little bit of this, but is there any kind of core? I mean, you mentioned the radiation stuff. Is there any other core mechanics you want to throw in?
Specifically, I would envision it being like a 1v1 fighter, like a Mortal Kombat, like you said for yours as well. The one types of fighting games that I don't really enjoy / can't really get my head around are the Tekken-like 3D kind of fighters, like Tekken and Soul Calibur. Like, I've tried a couple of them before, but like something about how the gameplay just kind of works in those games, I can never really wrap my head around. I would want it to be a little bit more just flat on 1v1 kind of fighting.
I'm trying to think that's the same style for PlayStation, but I'm trying to think of like if there's any kind of interesting PlayStation themed mechanics, or like you know, like tagging in a player's like an easy one to do, you know, like easy thing to include, but like I'm trying to think of like things that specifically that would make it like, oh yeah, it's a PlayStation ass game, you know, because you want to have like Astrobot level of detail put into this, you know, into this mechanic, so it's like everything is PlayStation themed at the ass. So I don't think I can think of anything. I'm trying to think of like specific maybe mechanics, but
I'm thinking more
necessarily
like
see anything
specific character things. So like I imagine when you mentioned Joel, like you could like pull out like a pistol and fire a round off, or like he has like a, you know, like a metal pipe or whatever that you can use as like a melee weapon.
It would be if you get your alt, I don't know what I guess we call that alt. All right, in this game you get, it's called an ultra, and so you get Joel's ultra, or Ellie, I suppose, and he just takes off his backpack, and then like you just see him crafting, and then he pulls out a bat, like a spiked bat. That's one. Yeah, okay.
In Mortal Kombat X, I think it was that, or 11. In the stages, they would have these little items you could interact with, so you could like pick up a crate and like throw it at somebody. I think in a similar vein, like there could be like bottles or something, and have like the character like, you know, pick up the bottle and throw it. Like I could see that being like something. Maybe it's exclusive to like a Last of Us stage.
Well, I was just about to say, my head is like, I mean, one of the stages I think would be interesting for this would be like a Ghost of Tsushima one, where it's like just a field of like flowers or something, and you're just like fighting in the foreground. But yeah, it would be so interesting if you're in like a Last of Us map, and you know, again, one of the things happens. Quick time event or something. At any point as you're playing the game, they'll just be in the middle of a screen, so a button will pop up, or a button combo will pop up, and the first one to do it can unlock it's like a secret move that essentially like every stage there's a move. And so like for like the Last of Us stage, it would essentially be like all of a sudden things get quiet, like both characters stop, and then you hear like the and then, you know, like whoever won like throws a bottle at the other person, and then the clicker attacks.
Oh, that would be
sick. You know, it shows up off screen. It
kind of reminded me when you said like the combo thing. It kind of reminded me of how you input the stratagems in Helldivers, where like you have like the little directional input code. So that also made me think it's like it'd be funny with like the Helldiver character, like if they
orbital strike,
if they like die or whatever, they just get crushed and another one comes out for like round 2 or whatever.
Oh like, that'd be a good one.
Not specifically 100%. Like a game mechanic, I guess, but like just like a funny.
But this is what we're building out. Because again, the more I talk about this game, the more I would 100% play it day one. Like I'm hyping myself up for this thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, there's. It's funny because so like, you know, one of the criticisms that I've said about modern Sony is that so many of the games are structured very similarly. So it's like, you know, something like grabbing a bottle or something. It's like I feel like you could probably do that in 4 of the different franchises that we mentioned. Leviathan Axe
Yeah.
could be cool for God of War, like getting like a call and
Ooh,
response
yeah.
kind of thing going.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And like it also it'd be like the sight of playing as I don't know, like Jin or something, right? And you're on let's say you're on the God of War map and you win the quick time event and then like all of a sudden like Jin's the one that catches just Jin puts his hand out and then the fucking Leviathan axe shows up. I mean, that's peak right there. We're hitting it.
Yeah, it makes me.
I was just gonna say Final Fantasy 16 giant icon shows up, or
Aw.
like or during the battle, it's like you see in the distance like icons or like fighting, just destroying towns.
Mm-hmm. I thought
All right, what were you
of the. Essentially, it was going to be the. Oh God, what was it? If like costumes would change mechanics. So like I imagine like with Kratos specifically, like you have like modern Kratos, but then you have like God of War 1 through 3 Kratos, and maybe like he gets like the chains and stuff, and that changes up the moveset.
Sure.
Astrobot could maybe be like Kirby in Smash Brothers, where like he can like take on the like abilities or looks of the other characters.
Here's the last mechanic I'll throw in there. Like let's say you're setting up the stage. We'll go. The game is currently the match is being played on this this Final Fantasy 16 map, whatever, and it's Joel versus like I don't know, like Kratos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the the Kratos is winning this one. Whoever's playing, I'm playing Joel, Nick's playing Kratos. He's kicking my ass. As the game is about to end, the little quick time event comes up. Nick wins that too. All right. Then Nick, Kratos takes out a golf club, and that's how the match ends. I need not go further. I think everyone understands what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah, that would be.
All right, last
that'd be good.
Interesting map mechanic I'll throw in there. I'll ask you to throw in there any Bloodborne things that would make sense for like get the FromSoft fans to.
So I think an interesting thing, the way that you parry in Bloodborne is with the gun. There's basically no shields in the game. There's like one like crappy one that's like essentially a joke that you're not supposed to use. But
Sure.
Typically parrying is done where like you shoot the gun at the moment of attack to like stagger. I think you could do something kind of cool with that, where it's like maybe like an interruption or something with the gun to go in for like a combo. A lot of the weapons in Bloodborne also have like two versions essentially. They call them like trick weapons, so like you can use it one way. I'll use like the Kirk hammer, for instance. In one version, it's just kind of like a regular sword, and then you can put that into the giant block of the hammer, and it turns into a giant hammer. So I feel like the Bloodborne Hunter would kind of be like one of those ones that's like constantly switching like styles and switching out like different movesets with tiny little adjustments that it can do. I think that would be really cool.
I'm gonna run through. I just inspiration struck me, so I'll just quickly run through a few that would be cool, and then we'll continue. I don't know if Ratchet and Clank would be in it, like I said, but Rift Apart, you get a portal in there, and like the portal opens up, and the combo is some like if you're playing as Ratchet or something, or I don't know how this works, but then like the portal opens up and like Clank fucking comes out, clobbers, and then goes back. Days Gone. If you're on the Days Gone map, you win the combo. You win the QTE. And a horde of freaking I don't know, what the hell are they called? I don't know. Zombies. A horde of zombies just plows through and, like deals a bunch of damage to the other person. And like you're able to get to safety.
I did think of another Bloodborne specific one that would be really cool. It'd be unique to that character. In Bloodborne, when you take damage, there's a limited amount of time where if you attack, you get health back. That could be a cool kind of mechanic where it's
Oh.
like you have like obviously like you would still need to kind of like favor you losing health, but like maybe you can get like
Right.
a hit or two of health back if you land hits after getting hit.
The an easy one for like it's not a QTE, but as like a ultra for one of the like Cole from Infamous would be like he like does the power up thing where he like charges up and then shoots into the air and then like spins, lands. I don't know if that's in the second sun maybe, or maybe it's in both. But either way, I think that'd be a cool little ultra move to do.
Do you imagine them
I'm
being
not-
like the Smash Brothers ones where it's like kind of like a small cutscene? Or do you imagine
Yes.
it being more like
Yeah.
gameplay? Okay, yeah. I think that's the way that I would want them to work as well.
It's 100%. I think it'd be like a cutscene, unless it's like a certain character would be like during the cutscene, it's like if you smash X a bunch of like or like attack as much as possible, it like does like a little bit more damage or something.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go. All right, mechanics done. Features and modes. Anything specific that you want? I was like, there's the main thing, right? Like I think both of us are on the same page. It's a 1v1 classic kind of fighting mode. Any other features or modes to throw in there?
So the modern Mortal Kombat games have a thing called the Crypt in it, which you can go in and explore in like third person, and it's where you kind of unlock unlockables like extra costumes and fatalities and stuff. You can like explore, and there's like weird little like puzzles that you can solve to unlock new areas and stuff like that. I think a Crypt like system for a Fallout one that would be like kind of like bringing back in some of that exploration and stuff could be really cool.
Or it's like the cryo chambers from Fallout 4, like the start. It's just like an endless maze of those, like that.
Yeah, and like you could get like bottle caps or something like that, and you spend your bottle caps to unlock costumes and everything. I think that would be a cool mode. I'm trying to think of how you would incorporate, because like the one other core pillar I feel like outside of them, just completely changing the combat would be the dialogue. So it's like I wonder how like you would get like dialogue options or something like that. Maybe some kind of side mode that would be like,
oh, dude, this goes back to mechanics, but I just thought of it. I feel like it's sort of like a Mortal Kombat-esque, like when you get a nice move, it's like you get the close-up X-ray vision type of thing.
mm-hmm.
You get VATS in the game. So like,
Yeah.
like pauses and then and then goes in for the close-up finishing move.
Or yeah, specifically like you're saying, like with the X-ray moves, like when you activate that, like maybe it's like a mid-match thing where you activate the VATS
you can
attack
pick what-
and it's like it's special. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like if you choose the leg, like it's like a leg attack, or if you do the head, it's like a head attack or something.
can we get both
Yeah,
of these
okay.
games? Like honestly, like the more we talk about it, like I want both of these.
Any other features and modes? I'm trying to think of PlayStation as well.
PlayStation, I
yeah.
feel like it would be cool to see some kind of like I maybe it's my light just went out, but I compare it so closely to Smash Brothers because that first game was so much like a Smash Brothers game, and so you have a thing like World of Light in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate where you kind of just like explore this map and get into random fights that try to like emulate moments from the games or something. I think that could be something that would be kind of cool. I mean, I feel like part of what makes World of Light is that it's like using elements that don't really work. So it'll be like a Metal Gear mission, but like, you're fighting Mario, like Metal Mario or something to like approximate that. Whereas the PlayStation one, I feel like you would just reenact moments from those games or something. I will say there is in Smash Brothers Melee a adventure mode that kind of puts you in like a 2D level that you kind of like fight through. It could be cool for like the PlayStation 1 to structure those around those games. So like for Last of Us, it's like maybe like you kind of stealth around clickers like you were saying, or like Astrobot's like a little platforming level that you like have to jump through. That could be cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, so the only thing, excuse me, the main thing is the fighting mode. For optional stuff, I think it'd be like, yeah, Easter eggs or things that are like nods for fans. So if let's say like, all right, so let's say this, right? This would be this would be excessively more work. But the dev team doesn't exist, so we can overwork them as much as we want. So essentially, I don't know if this is like exactly what kind of maybe what you were saying, but like you go through like Last of Us, right? Because we'll pick that as everyone knows Last of Us at this point, whether you watched it or played it, and so you go through and you play key moments of The Last of Us, not key moments of like story moments necessarily all the time, but you can pick whatever character. So then you could be like, Kratos, and you're just fighting a clicker, like in mortal, in hand to hand combat.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm trying to think of like the like what other logical places you go, like Uncharted. Maybe you go through like certain Uncharted moments where you're fighting like Sam, like Drake's brother.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
or
in the like burning pirate ship or whatever.
Yeah, or you're fighting Nazis on a sinking submarine, or like a beach submarine. It's an easy one to do, but something like that, or where like it's essentially like an offline mode that just has you playing like so, and you can do like the Horizon one, and you could beat like a robot to like one of the, I don't know what they're called, but like the animal robots.
Uncharted 3, coming out of the airplane with all the boxes. You have to hit the boxes,
the cargo
or else
stuff.
they'll knock you off and send you flying. Like that could work.
Yeah. You go into Ghost of Tsushima, and it's just like it's like letterboxed in, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have much in the thought of features and modes. All right, world building. I think we've done a little bit of this. I think I built my world up a little bit. Do you have any other kind of Fallout world building stuff that you want to do, or is it just like it's a spin-off game? Not doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think spin-off it would be highlighting the fan favorite areas. So I think like a New Vegas stage. I think various locations in Fallout 3, Fallout 4, even throw some 76 in there and get people a little bit weird with like West Virginia and stuff. I think, as you mentioned, the $20 Fallout TV show DLC, get like Philly or something.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
I think that would definitely be what I would lean into more than like new like unique locations. I think it would be like the staples, be like a desert landscape or like a blown up city square, something like that.
Yeah, I think I've done my world building, so I don't know what else I'd add. And then for Fallout,
I guess this might be considered world building, like UI. Like how do you think like the UI would look for your game? Like, would it be like PlayStation design language, or would it be like?
Well, I was saying for you, right? Like for Fallout, it would be. I would imagine it to be like almost like a elongated Pip-Boy, where it's like just like a long bar that looks like it's like the Pip-Boy kind of structure around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then under it, a little smaller one that's like Rads, or no, I guess Rads is the main bar. Right?
Yeah, it would like build up. They kind of have that, I guess, in game where like it fills up as red on the radiation,
and then
meter.
You can't heal that up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For PlayStation, yeah, I feel like it has to like sort of have PS5 main menu energy. Like it's very sterile, but like simple.
White health bars.
I don't know what the word.
Like just like
very
very minimalistic. Yeah.
A faint glow to it. A faint white glow to it in the in the background. And then when the buttons come in the center, it's just literally just like, like you pull up like a generic PlayStation 5 controller, and it's like those buttons, like a white X or a white circle or a white triangle.
I feel like it would be like the one area of the game that people would bitch about. They'd be like, the UI sucks. It's just PlayStation stuff.
Hell, we go one step further. You launch the game, and the game main menu looks like the PS5 home screen. So like the start game is just like a whole ass block, just for that.
Mm-hmm.
You go to settings, it's just another block over there. I can picture it now. Yeah, very simple. Regards to UI, not much. Next is art style and music. We've talked a little bit about this, but let's get in. So, art style. I mean, I've already said I don't have much else. It's like Mortal Kombat level of fidelity, and it's mostly like these characters are all like human height, except Astrobot, who will be made human height, but through a painful process for him, by the way. Just canonically, it's brutal for him to grow into that body, but human-sized characters, so they're all kind of playing on the same level of playing field or whatever, and it's just good. Like top end graphics, really like solid hitboxes. I mean, it's.
I think mine would be similar for the game that I'm imagining. I do want to bring this up because it's just like an idea that I've had that I'm like surprised no company has really attempted yet, and kind of Square Enix has kind of cornered the market on the HD 2D like pixel look for like the Dragon Quest remasters and stuff.
Octopath Traveler.
I feel like a HD 2D fighting game in that style with like the hyper saturated lighting but like detailed pixel sprites and animations would look so cool for like a modern fighting game, especially because they have so much history with like pixel art fighters and everything like that. I think like a new interpretation of that style would be really cool. I don't think that really fits either of our ideas that well, but
no,
I think it would be a very interesting and distinct art style that would be cool to see.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. For me, I mean, I kind of weirdly enough, I know Fallout 3 and 76 look better, or Fallout 4 and 76 look better, but Fallout 3 is like how I keep picturing the game whenever I close my eyes. It was like it's that art, like those character models and that kind of graphical fidelity.
Oh my god, we didn't even think of the Vault Boy. The Vault Boy has to be like a character.
Yeah. Damn, how did we miss that? That's pretty straightforward. And then music. What kind of music? I mean, it's easy, dude. It's so easy for you. You just the classics. You just throw in some classics in there.
Yeah, I was honestly thinking of like the original soundtracks, and I'm like, man, a lot of those aren't that great. But yeah, if you just put like some doo-wop like vibe music in, like that would seal the whole deal together for sure. Yours is pretty easy too. You just pull on every classic theme and battle music you can.
That's true. Maybe I'll put together a Spotify playlist of just like the tracks from each of these games that I'm talking about, where it's just like this would slap. Because I know I can think of one at least for Final Fantasy 16 that would be perfect for it. But yeah, I think that, or hear me out. We get Lauren Balfe or Bear McCreary in there. If you don't know who those respective people are, Lauren Balfe frequently does the Game Awards orchestra and stuff, as well as composer for Fallout, not Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout, who I absolutely love for that. And then Bear is, I want to say he did God of War. I think he's the God of War composer.
Mm-hmm.
And then also he did like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and just killed that fucking soundtrack. An absolutely incredible soundtrack for that movie. So, get one of them in there and then like recreate certain tracks with like an orchestra, and like that's the soundtrack. Is like just like okay. So here's the thing, right? The reason why I'm going down this path is because like we said that I was really going to play Mario Kart World. One of the things I've when I was like trying to listen to the score for that game is that there's like the track, there's songs for tracks, and then like there's the songs for the last lap, you know?
Mhm.
So it'd be like if there's 3 rounds or whatever, the first two rounds are just regular kind of like music, you know, pulled from and then the last round is like the epic shit where it's like, fuck, this is like I have to win now, or it's all down to this. Like,
Mhm.
so that's the energy we got to bring to that soundtrack.
Yeah, that would be so
right.
great. Oh my god! Wait, real quick before you move on.
Yeah.
That just made me think of like the Last of Us like banjo music, but like round 3, like
Oh,
it gets like super
yeah.
intense and stuff like that. That would totally work.
Yep. Now, that's the bullet points. Those are the list that we have essentially compiled our perfect fighting game. The games that we would line up day 1 to experience. And the last little bonus thing I've thrown out there, Nick, is this. Who is developing this game?
Ooh.
Because you can give it to, I mean, for me, I have more of a choice of like, you know, I can give it to someone that's, you know, like a Naughty Dog or something, and go like have them make their first fighting game, or I could give it to like Arc System or System Works, you know, like you know, get them their fighting experience into there. What are you thinking though?
Dude, there's no way that Bethesda could make this. I imagine not to the specification that's up in here.
But Nick, think about this. I mean, first of all, you balloon out and you have ZeniMax Studios, all that umbrella. But now you balloon out even further. You get all of Xbox. Any of the Xbox studios could be fair game.
Yeah, they're not technically owned by Microsoft, but I guess I would do like an Iron Galaxy because they were behind or I guess not fully Iron Galaxy, but like they helped on Killer Instinct.
Tony Hawk? Oh, is Iron Hawk or Tony Hawk?
Yeah,
Galaxy?
Iron Galaxy.
Oh,
they
okay.
just did 3 and 4.
Okay.
Maybe something
I was like, I knew
that. I'm trying to think. Like, maybe I give it to like Infinity Ward. They could pull it off.
The high end. You know, a crazy pull. A crazy pull would be you give it to Tango Gameworks. Get that team.
They could definitely get the gameplay
The Hi-Fi
down.
Rush team.
They would definitely nail that gameplay. I feel like they could nail the gameplay, and then like one of the Call of Duty studios, like Infinity Ward or Raven, would get like the visual fidelity of like, you know,
Sure.
a Naughty Dog or something like that out of it.
Look, for PlayStation, what do I? It's like spoiled by riches, you know. Like I could legitimately give this to any Sony first-party developer.
You could put them on a dartboard
be confident
and blindfolded throw one and be fine.
Essentially. My initial reaction though was so I'll share my initial reaction, which was Sucker Punch. I think Sucker Punch would make a really cool one. Just I don't know, it'd be different and it'd be interesting to see them work in that space. So that's my official kind of answer. But honestly, like Insomniac would make a killer. I mean, they already have like some of that pacing of combat down. Obviously, this is different; it's a fighting game, but like they know how to make fights look good across not even Spider-Man, but like Sunset Overdrive or go further back. So that'd be an interesting one. Santa Monica, I actually don't think Santa Monica would do it just because I don't know.
They're more of the like prestige kind of like, single player thing. You think they might
same thing
not.
with Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
And oh my god, how am I forgetting their name? Who made Horizon? Guerrilla.
Yeah.
I don't know. Guerrilla also doesn't come to mind. I will stick with Sucker Punch. I think Sucker Punch, and then as a second Insomniac. But yeah, Sucker Punch.
I think that's probably where I would land on those ones, Sucker Punch or Insomniac. I feel like they have both the visual palette plus
Yeah.
the game design to kind of back that up.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That has been our extended game building session where we build our perfect fighting game. This was actually originally, I think, I don't know about you, Nick. I had an idea for like as a topic episode where it was just like we build our dream game, and it was originally like just like throwing in like random ideas. This is like we would essentially build the ideal game, right? Like was the idea for that initial topic. This, if we had this extensive of a conversation with a genre neither of us actually play, that's going to be a brutal conversation to have. That's going to be a long conversation coming up at some point whenever there's a slow news week, I guess. But yeah, how do you feel about? Do you have a name for your game?
Oh, I feel like I wrote down a name a long time ago whenever I thought of the concept, but I feel like it'd have to have something to do with radiation in the title. Like Fallout radioactive beatdown or something like that. Like,
oh, you think like that's a very retro yeah. Rad.
What's something to go with like with the R? Like there has to be some kind of like fight term. Like I thought roll out, which was like the Pokemon move, whatever, but like radiation ring out, or that would be like for a third 3D fighter.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Oh, here we go. Hold on, let me just see here. Or R. Let me go to R. Rad rounds? Like rad rounds? Fallout Sprawl. There you go.
I feel like
I think Takedown's an easy one. Fallout : Takedown. Simple.
Radioactive Wreckfest or something.
Overhook is another fighting term, I'm told. Not to be confused with Overlook. Wink.
Whatever. It would have to be like radioactive or rads in the title, I think, if that's going to be core to the gameplay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I don't love the title, but PlayStation Fighters with a Z is the first one that came to mind. Literally first, like that's the first title that I came to mind. I do think it has to, I don't know, it has to be PlayStation, one word, I think, or maybe a hyphen. But is PlayStation Brawl a game title already?
Smash Brothers Brawl.
Oh shit! I knew I was getting Brawl from somewhere. That's another one. That's another option. Fighters, maybe. Oh, I think Dragon Ball Z has fighters with a Z. I think so. I stole that from someone too.
yeah, Dragon Ball. What about like PlayStation Punch something? It's a bit weird because
PlayStation Punch Out.
So many of the PlayStation characters that we talked about would have like weapons. I feel like though, so maybe punches wouldn't be the way to go.
Yeah. PlayStation. I've talked myself into Brawl. Now that I've said it, because that makes it seem the vibe would be a little bit less like serious. It's like, okay, it's a brawl. It's like a friendly.
It would be kind of lame, but honestly, I like PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. Like if they were just ballsy enough to be like, yeah, this is the direct sequel to that last game.
Sequel. That'd be that'd be there you go. So what idea did you like? What's your ideal fighting game for yourself? You don't have to be as extensive. Feel free to let us know. We are available obviously on YouTube, where you're probably listening or watching to this, where of course you should hit the like button and subscribe. We're also available on Twitter, on Instagram, both myself and Nick, as well as Respawn Station as a whole. Check out Start Screen Gallery. Obviously, the big one, easiest way to really hit us up, check out respawnstation.com. You can see the new pages, how everything's looking, give us some compliments, throw some of that our way. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff to check out there. New stuff coming up. I have a piece that I'm currently writing about Battlefield. That I'm waiting for the Battlefield 6 multiplayer to kind of fully sink in, and then I'll finish that piece up, and that'll be up probably by next week. So probably by next episode you'll hear me talk about that. But until then, people, Nick, I don't have nothing else to say. So take us out.
Have a good night, a good morning, and a damn good time.